Everyone, have you ever noticed that the best conversations, real conversations in life don't happen in meetings? They don't happen in boardrooms. They happen around a table, kitchen table, firehouse table, a place where people sit down and just talk. No filters, no agendas, just real conversations. That's what this is. Welcome to At the Kitchen Table. I'm Jason Klink, your host. And if you followed me before, you might remember a podcast I used to host called At the Coffee Table. Over 100 episodes, a show podcast that was built on conversation, real conversation, sitting down with people, hearing their stories, talking about leadership, life challenges, and growth, both personal and professional. But over time, I realized something. It was never really just about the coffee, it was about the table. Because in my life, whether it was at the firehouse or at home, the most important conversations didn't happen over a quick cup of coffee. They happened when people pulled up a chair and stayed a while, maybe a cup of coffee or possibly three. For me, a lot of that started in the firehouse. If you've ever been in one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's always a kitchen or a coffee table. And no matter what kind of shift we were on, no matter how busy things got, at some point, everyone ended up around that table. And that's where it all happens. You solve problems, sometimes. You talk about calls, you definitely debate, you laugh, you disagree, you learn more about each other. Sometimes you're just talking about life, and sometimes you're solving all of the world's problems in one sitting. And here's the thing, the conversations, they truly mattered because they weren't forced, they definitely weren't scripted, they were very real. It wasn't just the firehouse, it was family too. Think about it. How many important conversations in your life happened around a kitchen table? Holidays, Sunday dinners, late nights, early mornings. That's where you heard stories. That's where you learned lessons. That's where you figured things out. You talked about anything and everything. Politics, well, sometimes politics. Sports, work, what might have happened last weekend. And sometimes the conversations got heated, especially around politics. Sometimes they got very deep, but they were always real. And that's something that we've lost a little bit of. I think we've lost a lot of bit of. That's why I created At the Kitchen Table. The podcast is simple. It's about real conversations, not interviews, not surface level questions, conversations. We're going to talk about life, leadership, maybe a little public safety, business, family, personal growth, professional growth, and everything in between. Some episodes will be just me. Some will be with guests. At least I'm hoping with guests. Starting to line those up now. People who have lived real experiences and have something worth sharing. But every episode will feel like this. Like you're sitting around a table just with us. Listening in, thinking, reflecting, maybe even seeing something differently when you walk away. Here's one thing I want to be clear about. This isn't about having all the answers. I know I don't have them all. It's about having better conversations because that's where real growth happens. Not when everything is polished, but when it's honest. And if there's one thing I've ever learned through the firehouse, through business, through life, it's that people don't need more noise. They need more real. So if you're listening to this, I appreciate you being here. This is only the beginning. And I'd ask you to do one thing. Do me one favor. Keep pulling up a chair to the kitchen table. Be part of the conversation because the best ones are the ones that we have together. This is At the Kitchen Table. I appreciate you joining me. This is episode number 1, and we're just getting started. Have a great day.